my channel is all about dreadlocks and my dread journey. My dreads are 3.5 years old and they are real dreads extended with human hair extensions. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of dreadlocks, so I hope you enjoy. The first pro that is literally probably my favorite thing about dreads is that no matter what you do to them, you can always fix them. Unlike loose hair, if it snaps and breaks off, you know, you can see it, and it's really hard to hide. Whereas with dreadlocks, for example, if they get thin, you can add extension hair in to make them thicker. If they snap off anywhere, you can just reattach the extension or your natural dread, and you can just always fix them. Liz Kidder has a great example of this in her 10-year dreadlock journey video. I'll link it down below. But she had black dreadlocks and she wanted them to be blonde. So she literally cut them off at the root and attached a blonde dreadlock. So you can pretty much go close to bald and fix anything that happens with dreads. This one goes hand in hand. You can't see extensions with dreads. So before I got dreadlocks, I always had hair extensions, and no matter what type of extensions I had, whether they were tape in, weave in, clip in, if the wind blew, you could see where the extension was attached. So I just love that. I get asked a lot, how long have I been growing these amazingly giant dreads? And I don't lie, I tell them that they're extensions, but obviously no one can tell because you attach them at the bottom. The next pro is that you get compliments everywhere you go. When I walk through the shops, I will literally have, like, on average at least 3 people come up to me saying how amazing my hair is, and it's just a really, really nice ego boost wherever you go. The next pro is that you can have timestamps. So I have a video on this that I will link down below, but I have a 1-year dreadlock timestamp, which is just a piece of jewelry that I've sewn in on my 1-year mark. And then I have my 2-year mark, which is this little bell here, and it continues to go. I've got my 3-year, and so I just really love the timestamps. That one dreadlock is actually the only real one that I've got that hasn't broken off because I kept fixing it. But those timestamps never come out, like they haven't ever come out, and I love them. The next pro is that dreadlocks never get oily. I don't know what is up with this, but I'm gonna be honest, the longest I've gone without washing my hair is like 3 weeks, because I didn't have the job that I have, which is really dirty, and I don't know, I just didn't wash them and they don't go oily. It's super, super weird, so you can never really tell if the roots are dirty. This is not like an exception to go and not wash your hair. I'm just saying that you can't tell if you don't wash your hair. But like a con that I'm going to mention is that you can see dirt in dreadlocks. So like if you do have a really dirty job, then like you can see it so much more than loose hair. The next pro that I have is if you are a girl, most guys love them. So if you're like self-conscious or thinking that, you know, guys aren't going to like you if you have dreads, it's literally, I have found the complete opposite. Most guys love them and it's a great conversation starter, especially if you meet a guy with dreads. And I guess that's my next pro. When you meet other people with dreadlocks, it's almost like I already know a little bit about your lifestyle and what you go through, and it's just sort of an instant connection. And also, you do actually have a connection with your own dreads. So this is another pro. I just love my dreadlocks so much. I can't really explain it. I know they're extensions. I know that I've like stuffed around with them so much, but you just actually have a special feel for your hair. Like you love your dreads. When you wash them, when you like put jewelry in them. I never felt like this about my loose hair, but I definitely do about my dreads. I love them so much. Next pro is that if you have thin hair, you can pretty much look pretty voluminous with dreadlocks. So I do want to mention though, like if you have thin hair and then you get thin dreadlocks, then maybe not, maybe it won't be voluminous, but I just feel like, again, you can add extension hair in to thin dreadlocks to make them look thicker. That is a lot of work, I will say, to continuously have to do it, because when they grow out, they grow out thin again. But if you have really thin hair and you want more voluminous hair, dreadlocks is like totally something that could fix that if you're willing to do the work to always put extension hair into the regrowth. But they make you look like you have a lot of hair. I sort of just forgot to mention with the adding volume to your hair, so everything I'm saying is coming from my own experience, and I realized if you don't bleach your hair and you don't completely damage it and you have thin hair, dreadlocks get thicker over time, so they will become voluminous by themselves over time, and you won't have to add extension hair if you are not damaging it and they go thin by themselves. So that's also how you can get volume, by giving it time, letting your dreads mature, and they will just get thicker and thicker and thicker. And the next few things are just sort of some generic things that I'm sure you've heard on a lot of pros and cons videos, which is just that you do wake up with cool hair every day. It takes like 2 minutes to style. I get compliments on this hairstyle all the time, and it takes 2 minutes to do, whereas I used to spend like an hour and a half every day doing like braids and making them all neat and everything, and yeah, like I just feel like 2 minutes to style and you wake up like this. Okay, so moving on to the cons of dreadlocks, and I'd just like to say beforehand, I feel like the cons sound really bad, but I just want to note that like the pros of dreadlocks, I just feel like highly outweigh the cons in my personal experience. So the first thing is that you're pretty paranoid that people think you have dirty hair, like all the time. I just think that everyone that meets me thinks that I don't wash my hair. I'm sure they don't think that, because when they're like dragging along the truck and all in the dirt at work, they must know that my hair could not possibly be this blonde if they were clean. But anyway, you're super paranoid that people think that you don't wash your hair. Going along with that, like I said in the pros bit, you can see dirt in dreadlocks. So you can't see it in loose hair. Like you can't really see if loose hair is dirty, except for like if it's oily. Whereas when you get dirt, like my dreadlocks were literally, number one, they literally had mud in them the other day, dyed, but you could see that. And like when they do get dirty at the end of the week, they're like such a darker blonde at the bottom, whereas I just don't feel like you could ever notice that when I had loose hair. So yeah, that is one con. The next con is that they are super scratchy, they're not soft if you don't have dreadlocks already. I remember thinking before I got dreads, oh my god, they look so nice and soft. They're not, they're scratchy, like it's hurting my collarbone right now whenever I wear this hairstyle and tops like this. It just literally leaves a red mark on my shoulder. Sleeping with them is not comfy because they're like scratchy. Yeah. So another con with dreadlocks, if you do wear the same hairstyle like I do, this hairstyle every day, you get like red bumps. I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but you get like red bumps from all the pulling, and like just the single dreadlocks when they pull, it's really not a good feeling. It's so annoying. By the end of the night at work, like before I even get home, I will full undo all my hair in the truck because I just need it to stop being pulled in those single sections. I could wear a different hairstyle, but I love this one and it works for me. So yeah, it's just being aware that you can have all those like redness and you can see it. That brings me to my next con, which is you can see your scalp with dreads. So even if they are laying like, you know, like brick section, as in between each other, you can still see your scalp. You can always see your scalp with dreads. I don't mind because I can't see the back of my head during the day, but I know that other people can, and I've also got messages about like, oh my god, you can see your scalp, and yeah, so that's a con if you care about that. Dyeing, so another con is dyeing your hair from dark to light is much harder to do when you have dreads compared to loose hair. Yeah, I just felt like it was such a horrific experience that I went through when I went from ombre, dark brown to blonde. It was just so much harder. I've gone from black to blonde hair before when I had loose hair. It was much easier. And then for ages the brown was like coming through because I obviously couldn't dye the middle of the dread. So actually, now that I'm mentioning this con though, instead I wouldn't have done this, but yes, dyeing them from dark to light is super hard with dreads, but not if you just cut them off and attach a light hair extension. The next con for dreads is that there's literally no escape from them. Even like as in if you have them down, there's just, for me personally, because of the length of them, they're just everywhere. They're always on you. They're always there. There's no escape. And even when you put them up in a bun, like there's just so much that it's like heavy on your head. So there's absolutely no escape from dreads. It's just a feeling that you have to deal with at all times. Yeah, but again, the pros highly outweigh that feeling. It's not that bad. And then some more of the generic cons about dreads is that you're always gonna have frizz. I used to always wear my hair super slick with like lots of hairspray, very neat. Never had any bumps or frizz. Now, you have to get used to the fact that you're going to have frizz at all times. I probably have more than most just because of the damage, so mine's actually breakage, not frizz. But regardless, even if you didn't have breakage, you're always going to have frizz. Even after you get them first maintained, within a few days the frizz comes back. So just be aware of that. It is annoying. No one's come up with a solution yet. Don't be putting wax or hairspray in your hair either, because that's a no-go to fix the frizz. No, I also wanted to mention like one con, and I'm like leaving. I shut off all my lights. So another con is that if you do have extensions, they can constantly fall out if they're not attached properly. And I did figure out a solution to this. And it's really embarrassing when people find your dread extensions on they find them. So I figured out to not have this happen. Attach your extension with synthetic hair and then they never come out anymore. But that's just another con with the dread extensions. And yeah, like more of the generic ones is just like they take so long to wash and dry. They're really annoying to sleep with. Yeah, they're a lot. It's a lot to have dreads, but it's also not, because they're so quick and easy to style and everything. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe so you see my next video. I also document my whole dread journey on Instagram, so I will leave that linked below. And I hope you have an awesome day. Bye.